now tuned in to the Premier Hotspur TV. Sit back, get involved, comment away, because we are live.
Yes, guys, welcome back to the Premier Hotspur TV. It's your man, Simon, North of England's biggest Spurs fan, guys. Yes, we are back with a catch-up show. Me and Matt ain't done one for a while due to me having long days at work, and I haven't had time to do anything after that. But I'm joined by my co-host, Matt. Matt, how's it going, my mate?
Yeah, no, all good, mate. Yeah, just both been really busy. I've actually been away. I went to Liverpool for a couple of days just for a breakaway with the other half. Very nice city. Jake, if you're in the chat, thanks for your
It'll definitely be in the chat.
opinions on stuff to do. No, it was really good. Good, lively city, and if you haven't been, definitely go. But yeah, no, yeah, I'm feeling refreshed and yeah, sort of ready for some football again. But yeah, bored of internationals already.
Yeah, as Matt said, I ran out the hours, but now the hours are a bit kinder now, so hopefully I can get a couple in a week now, and we'll get back onto it. International week, I hate it, absolutely, just really can't stand it. It's boring as hell. Even watching England yesterday, boring. Was it yesterday, Matt?
Yeah.
Yesterday. What
Too
a diet.
easy.
Too easy. We have got a couple in the chat already. We got Derek. Big up, guys. Thank you, Derek, for coming in. Yusuf, hello. Good to be early, I guess. Yusuf, thanks for coming in, mate. Tottenham first in the table. Yes, absolutely. We'll be happy white last, guys. Not only because we know we won't be there at the end of the season, but you don't know. What a farce in Brazil. We'll get onto that. As things we want to get into it, Derek. But first of all, guys, if you are joining the stream, guys, make sure you smash the like, subscribe if you already haven't. It's free of charge. It does not cost nothing, guys. So it'll help the channel get up to 1K subscribes. And that's what it is, guys. Sub, like, share, guys, and comment. And on road to 1K subs, guys. And Matt, as we called it, the catch-up show, we had a word. So what can we call it? Because we didn't do nothing on the transfers, did we? On the Watford game. So it has been a while, and Harry Kane situation. It's been a while since we've had a catch-up of it. So we call it the catch-up show. So we're catching up. Let's go back, Matt. Let's go back to the Watford reaction. That sent us top of the league, Matt. 3 out of 3, 3-1-0s. I'll say we'll take that at the start of the season. Before it starts, we had West City and Wolves, 2 really tough games, Matt. We come through them. I wouldn't say flying colours, but 3 important wins, Matt. And how do you sum up the reaction, the match against Watford?
Yeah, I think it was always going to be a bit of a tough game. Obviously, Watford, lost their last away game and got pretty battered. To be honest, I thought we were professional. I thought, at the end of the day, we got the job done. I don't really remember them making Lloris make a save. So I think props again to the defence. I think they've done a good job. I know it's only a 1-0 win, against Watford, but no game's easy in the Premier League. And I think also, we're not just sitting back on a 1-0 lead. We had chances to go 2-0 up. So we're not just sitting back and holding on. We're trying to keep going forward and trying to kill off the game. So that's nice to see. So, there's a few people who are comparing, Nuno's type of style to Mourinho's with 1-0 wins. But I think the difference is we're trying to go forward and we're trying to kill off the game. But I think, we're learning as a team. And yeah, I do think it's been a really good start, and yeah, it's nice, to be top after the first few weeks, but we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We've got a long way to go, and there's some big games coming up. But yeah, if we have the attitude that we've had these last 3 games and hard work, why can't we go and, I'm not saying win the league, but we could easily get into the top 4 if we carry on playing like this with the attitude and the desire. I don't see why not.
Yeah, as I said, Matt, it weren't a great performance against Watford, was it? It was typical Spurs over the years, and against these sort of teams, where we grind out results against these teams. But yeah, we're looking more solid at the back. Going forward, we're looking good as well. It's good to have Kane back into the team. We'll get onto that Kane situation in a minute, Matt. But I think it's been a real good start. I mean, we haven't played great. I hold my hands up. We haven't. We have scraped through these games, but it's 9 points, and Arsenal are bottom with nothing. I mean, so we're 9 points clear of them. But going to the, I thought there was a couple of good performances. I thought the back two again were good. They really were good again. Pierre, I think he was good in midfield. And Kane, what does Kane and Sonny? Weren't great games by them, but we got the job done at the end. I like to see Brian Hill a bit more, Matt, because I think this guy is ready. I don't care what anyone says. I think this guy, he needs 1 or 2 games, and I think he'll be ready. I really do think he'll be up for this one. And next against Palace, it's gonna be a tough one, Matt. Real tough one. Palace away, we don't do well there, do we, Matt? We don't do well.
We normally get a draw or scrape a 1-0 win or something, don't we? So, it's going to be tough.
Exactly. I mean, so we needed that Watford result, really. We needed that to because we got Palace, Chelsea at home, and Arsenal away. 3 London derbies, tough games. And by looking at it, we'll get into the situation with CELSO and ROMERO, as they wanted to call him, on international duty. Looks like them two will be now out. Looks like Davinson Sanchez as well. He won't be available for the Palace game either. So, I mean, I don't know what's gone on there, but apparently he didn't have a great game. He was booked as well for Colombia. Let's just hope that don't just because he has been really good for Dyer at the back there. But the big test's going to come now, mate. Away at Palace, Matt. We'll quickly just get onto it before we get onto other things. They haven't started well under Patrick Vieira, but they've brought in Edouard on transfer deadline day, and that was fantastic business. I wanted Spurs to go after that one. I mean, backup striker. You know what I mean? And I think that guy, under better players, he would have flourished in our team. But fair play to Palace. So what do you expect out of that Palace game, Matt? Going into that Palace game, we will do a review of obviously, but going forward now, Matt, 3 tough games now. It's gonna test the team and test Nuno and the coaching staff. Yeah,
definitely. I think our fitness capabilities are there. It's about taking our chances against a team like Palace. I don't think it will be a typical type Palace performance because I think they're trying to play open attacking football, aren't they? They're trying to play a certain brand of football, not the way Roy Hodgson or Sam Allardyce or managers of Palace in the past have tried to play. So it could be a more open game. But I do worry with who's going to play with Dyer in defence because obviously Sanchez is out. Tanganga could play there, and maybe Emerson at right back, or maybe Doherty if he has to. Or hopefully Rodon's fit, because if Rodon's not fit, then it's going to be Tanganga, and I think it's Tanganga, and that's kind of it, isn't it? There is really no one else.
Absolutely.
So that's a bit of a worry for me as a partnership because I think done really well together, and I'd like a settled team. And I think the actual
Yeah,
squad like a settled team,
absolutely.
not just keep changing it, chopping it. Because that's when, I think they get a bit disorganised and it goes wrong, the balance of the team. I think if you can keep it the same, like when we had that wonderful season at the last year at the Lane, I could tell you the 11 every game near enough. Maybe one change every now and again. I think that's what it's about. I think it's about balance, but yeah, I am thoroughly disappointed in what the Argentinian boys have done, to be honest, and Davinson Sanchez. I just think it's pretty selfish from them
Yeah,
doing what they've done,
absolutely.
and I can't believe the club have let them kind of do it. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they said, you're not going, and they've just pretty much put two fingers up and said, "Screw this, we're going." But
Yeah,
you got to be professional, and it's worrying with amount of South American players we've got. Are they going to keep doing this every international
yeah.
break we have? I really don't know what's going to happen. It could really mess up our season. Um,
Mm.
because we don't have the most amazing depth. We don't have a squad like
This
City's
is
or
Matt. This is when we was crying out for a second centre back in this
yep,
transfer window. You know what I mean? And they thought they felt comfortable that what they had. Tanganga can come in and replace an injured Davinson Sanchez, or Romero's out. Obviously, we have got Romero or Davinson Sanchez for the next. It says Crystal Palace and for the conference game should be back for the Chelsea game, so that's a massive plus against
yeah,
Chelsea. Either Roden probably get bring back in from the cold, or Tanganga. But who do you play right back? Is
yeah.
Emerson ready? This is the problem we got. Aurier's gone now. He may have to just play Matt Doherty at right back if he's ready, and Tanganga if he's fit and healthy, playing alongside Dyer, which won't be end of
Not
the
ideal, is it?
world. Not ideal, but just to get us through that game, I think we have got the firepower, Matt.
Yeah,
We know what Crystal Palace can do, mate, at home. I think they're better away. I think they do struggle at home sometimes, Matt. I think they were better.
I think there's
They
that
got a counter
pressure.
attack.
There's that
Instead.
pressure, isn't
Yeah,
there, at Palace?
absolutely. We've got some comments in here, guys. Got this guy on Facebook saying, "Looking classy, Simon. Thank you very much, pal. Yusuf, how's your new headphones, Matt? Simon never drinks
Yeah, good.
Coca-Cola again. I always have one with my stream. We can win the league. We have a strong squad. Won't go
No,
as far as a strong squad, mate.
no, I wouldn't go with that.
I would say we're probably on par as last team, or a tiny bit weaker. We haven't replaced the Bow goals. Christian Eriksen obviously is gone. He's back on the free now. Christian Eriksen. Maybe pull him in. We don't know if he's going to
Depends
be.
on his heart, doesn't it? Depends on that
It
sort of
does.
thing.
We got Paul. Yes, Paul. But afternoon, Sire Matt. The team are moving forward, and Nuno has got them playing good football, and all players are playing a part in every game. We are moving in the right direction as one, as our Arsenal. But Paul, what I'll say to that, mate, put it in the right direction, as in showing passion for the shirt. That's what I'll say. The football not as great what I was thinking it was under Nuno. It's a bit defensive at the minute, for my liking. We are seeing a bit more attacking, but what I see is we're fighting for the shirt. I think that's what's getting us through these games, isn't it? The last three games, I think, we're lasting 90 minutes now, 90 minutes plus. We've got some real good energy in there now, and concentration levels look good as well. We're not switching off, are we? So yeah, I'll say that. I won't say it's great football, Paul. We're playing at the minute, but you can just see the 1-0s. I mean, so it's not fantastic football, but we're taking, Paul. We'll take it. We're top of the league. Early days yet. Matt, your reaction to Paul's comment there, mate?
Yeah, afternoon, Paul. Hope you're well, mate. Yeah, I think we're going forward, in a direction. I think we're seeing a style of play and what he wants to do. But Nuno himself's, not happy. He said he's still not there yet. So he knows it's not, perfection yet. I think now with the transfer window shut, it's just kind of all the rumours and all that, and that can just settle the squad down. Yeah, I like Nuno. I like what he's done so far. I like the way we're working hard again, and I love the way he's handled, quite a few tough, not an easy summer for Spurs, definitely not. And I think Paratici with his interview the other day, that was spot on, and I really enjoyed the clarity from, hearing from the board level for once, what the direction of the club is and what they, want to do for the future, and it does seem win the trophies, doesn't it? So, I think we're maybe starting to get that mentality, hopefully, especially with someone like Paratici in there. But no, I thought it was really refreshing, and hopefully the club's just lifted by his appointment and a new management, and yeah, I think we've just got to keep this good feeling going as long as we can, really.
Well, Matt, it's not how true we can read into these stories. A couple of sources coming out saying that Paratici and the players are not happy with having Hitchin and Paratici on the so close to the bench and so close to the subs, and it seems they're not happy with that. So we'll get on with that. We'll get onto that. And Jake says, yes, lads. Yes, Jake. Thanks for coming in, pal. We've got Mike says, thanks, Mike, for coming in, pal. If Spurs are looking for a playmaker in midfield, I think Brian Hill could do that. And hasn't Sanchez been sent home early? It's still up to qualifying, Mike. That's what I understand. Even if they have been sent home, but the same as the other two, I think they have been deported back into England, but they have to do the quarantine. They knew the situation. They could not fly to red list countries, and looks like they've gone off the back of it, because I think Tottenham will allow them. I mean, but if Tottenham allowed it, it's Tottenham's biggest problem as well. You know what I mean? But I can't see Tottenham allowing them. I think this, as Matt said, I think this has said, "Fuck you, I'm going." I mean, that's it. As simple as that. And Mike said, and I thought Spurs let them go on international duty. I don't know, Mike. I can't see it. If it's a red list country, Mike, I can't see Spurs knowing they'll be in the limelight as well if it comes out that they.
Well, it was agreed that the Premier League clubs and the government officials have decided not to let those players go, or they backed them to not let them go. They've gone against the club, and obviously there's two Aston Villa players who have done it as well. So Spurs aren't, it's not just Spurs who are the bad enemies. Buendia and Martinez from Aston Villa, they're going to be in the same situation. So I'm sure you're going to have a few annoyed Aston Villa fans as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a few people wanted to know about this, what happened last night. I think that we'll get on to that, guys. We are getting to it, because our next one was the catch-up show. Me and Matt, we ain't spoke. We haven't done a stream for over a week and a half now, Matt, and it. And so we didn't do nothing on the transfer window, nothing on the Watford game, and we're just getting a catch-up. So got Paul saying Nuno needs to find his 11 and try and stick with it. We have a lot of competition in midfield at the moment, but we have the strength to kill off games. Paul, I can see where you're coming from. When everyone's fit, when everyone's healthy, when everyone's back off international duty, forget this international duty, it absolutely does be crazy. I think with a fit squad, everyone back, I think we have got he needs to find his strongest 11, which I don't think he knows yet. I think he's finding his thing. I think he's waiting for Romero to come back and be fully ready for the squad. Emerson Royal to come in at right back. Get Kane firing again. His comments doesn't seem like he's 100% happy for staying at Tottenham. They're still hoping he just gets that behind him and cracks on with the season. And but I don't want to end up being a Tottenham the Kane Son saga again. You know what I mean? We're relying on these two again. We need other players chipping in. And we've got Paul Walton. Thanks for coming in, pal. How do you feel about the CELSO and the Romero situation last night? Romero has made a great start to his career at his Spurs. Heard they are getting fined by Spurs. Yeah, they will get fined. Yeah, they will get fined, and they'll have to quarantine because they've gone to a red list country. And we got Mr. Daigle in. Yes, Brian. Yes, guys. Good morning to you both. I'm coming home for 6 weeks, 13th of September to 29th of October. Hope to meet you guys at some point and come back on the channel. Brian, I can't be in London because I live up north. So you may be able to catch up with Matt if Matt gets free time and he can have a catch up with you. But unless you want to venture into Blackpool and I'll come meet you up somewhere, Brian. Come and see the wonderful bright lights of Vegas in Blackpool here, guys. So yeah, Brian, thanks for coming in, pal. And we will definitely have you back on the show. Now moving forward, now I'm hoping we can get a few things and we'll start having guests back on. And we got Jake. We knew he'd be back in. We knew Liverpool transfer window was a disgrace. Stood still and watched everyone else improve. I'm fuming. Spurs will finish above us. Firmino is out for 2 or 3 months. Our squad depth is worse in the league. Too early to say. We've had a good start, Jake, and I think it's going to be a long season. Don't just go over 3 games. But Matt, go on.
Yeah, I don't know if that's. I don't know because I'm still waiting to hear if that's been confirmed. Firmino's out for 2 to 3 months. I don't know if you know more, Jake, but I know it's a rumor. But you have Jota, and I do think personally he's a better player than Firmino in terms of goal scorer. I mean, in defence, you've got enough. I'd say you've got Joe Gomez, you've got Kanate, you've got Van Dijk, you've got Matip. I'd be really worried if you lost Salah or Mane, to be honest, because you've sold Shaqiri, and then you've only got Minamino and Origi. So that's when I'd get really worried.
Yeah.
If but I think you got a few good options in midfield. Still got Thiago to come through. Still got Curtis Jones, who I think's a good player. I don't think it's panic stations for Liverpool yet, but I'd panic, especially if Salah or Mane got injured.
Absolutely. I'll listen to a Liverpool fan called Callum on the Football Terrace. Or he done a video for Football Terrace, and he was saying that he's not worried. That he's not worried at all. About the defence and the midfield. He said they're sound, they've got cover. He said it's the attack. He said when you've got to start relying on people like Origi, and he said that's the worry. But yeah, Jake, thanks for coming in, pal. Brian Daigle says, Simon, I'm coming up north for a week and a half to Stoke-on-Trent, where my best mate lives, and meeting up with Bob Spur from the 27th. Absolutely. If seriously, Brian, if you are going to venture in and come and have a day in Blackpool, come and see the lights, let me know ASAP, and I'll definitely make time and come and see you. Absolutely, that would be fantastic. Derek, if these players are going to want when they want against the rules, get shot of them too soon. CELSO, I'm not a big fan of, so it wouldn't really hurt me if we do get shot of this kind of player. But Romero, he's a good player, and definitely will be a good player for us. Big player for us this season. But I can see where we're coming from. We should hit them hard with a hefty fine because they can't do this. They've been told.
I think they should be Spurs should be having a word with the Argentinian FA because I'm pretty sure that the Argentinian FA would probably have pressured Lo Celso and Romero to go as well. Like they could have maybe said to him, if you don't go, you're not going to be in the squad for the World Cup, or it was against Brazil. It wasn't a small game, so I get rivalries and things like that. It was bad judgment from the players, but they may have had their hand forced.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Now we're going to the second part of the thing, guys. We've had the thing, the transfer roundup, mate. Transfer window roundup, Matt. We have got these are the players, Matt. We've got in Romero, Hill, Galini, Emerson Royale, and we've got Papa Sarr. for next season. Matt, how do you go through one by one? How do you rate our transfer window, mate?
I think for me, I'd give it a 7. Because I think actually what Paratici's done is he's got rid of 13 to 14 players, which is not easy. So we're getting rid of the Deadwood finally. Aurier's gone, the Sissoko's gone. That silly La Mafia has all been broken up now. So I'm glad that group's out, to be honest. So maybe Ndombele, whatever will happen with him, we don't know. Will he sulk? Will he get on with it and maybe try and make some new friends or try and integrate himself back into the squad? I think we've got the centre back we needed. I think we're looking more towards the future. I love the signing of Brian Hill. I think Papi Sarr will be a very good player. Emerson Royal, I mean, I'd say a very good last day of the window signing. I'd rather have Emerson Royal than Tommy Asu. I think that's a much better signing. Personally, I think he fits our profile more. He's got more pace. He's quite strong physically. He's good defensively. Actually, I've looked at his stats. I think he was up there in La Liga last season with the amount of tackles and blocks and stuff like that he gets in. But he's also very good progressing forward as well. Galini, it'd be interesting to see kind of what happens with him because I want to see Lloris play most games, but you do need to let Galini have a bit of Premier League game time experience so we know that he'll be ready for next season if Lloris is not to extend his contract. But I'd say overall, I don't think it's a terrible window. If you look at what like Jake's complaining with Liverpool, I mean, I don't, we've signed stuff for the future. I think it was never gonna. We can't just fix this overnight. You can't just get every position we want. Hopefully in January, maybe we can look at a central attacker midfielder or definitely a backup striker. But I think it is refreshing. I think they're trying to refreshen the squad, get some new players in, and build for the future. I mean, if you look at our average age of our squad last year, I think it was something like 29 years of age, and now they've narrowed it down to about 23, 24 again. So if you look at most of the players we've signed this window, they've all been early 20s. With a little bit of experience with Kane, with Son, we could have a good team in the future. And I think that's what we're building towards. Not a perfect window, but I don't think it's terrible, as a lot of people are sort of saying.
Absolutely.
I think the main thing was just getting rid of all the players we didn't want anymore, and we've saved 39 million in wages, so that goes into January or next summer, on top of what you say. I think it's massive. I really do.
Absolutely, pal. Just one. Derek says Ndombele needs to go SAP. I'll get onto that in a second. Derek. Facts and Stats says, all right, sorry, Matt. Sorry, just joined. Better late than never. Not a problem. Facts and Stats always in here supporting the channel like the others in here. Derek, the Ndombele one. It's very interesting because Twitter. I was on Twitter and there's a couple of sources coming out saying Spurs are already looking at that January transfer window to swapping him with Kessie. Me personally, I would like to have Kessie, but I want to give Ndombele one more go. I really do. I want to see if he does knuckle down now. Now these mates have gone, and let's see if he knuckles down. One more go. It won't hurt. You know what I mean? He's still a young player. He's still gifted. You know what I mean? Back onto the transfer window, Matt, out of this lot here. To me, I'll give it a 5, me personally. We haven't got another centre-back in, Matt. That worries me. We haven't got a creative midfielder. We look dead in that thing, mate. When the game goes on too long, Matt, we run out of ideas. We haven't got no one to unlock a defence who can pass the ball through the eye needle to someone, or he comes on a change game. Maybe Brian Hill, he can slip into that, mate, because he can come off that type of player. Maybe he can, but he's more of a winger. He's more to come off the ring and puts crosses in and things like that. So we didn't get a creative midfielder, which I was a bit disappointed with. Get a backup striker. I mean, and plus we we've been rebuilding since 2001, Matt, and I'm tired of this rebuild. And this what is going down. How Paratici, how you want to pronounce his name, Paratici, that interview we had, it sounds like him and Daniel Levy has agreed that that's the way forward they're going, signing the best and up and coming youngsters. We've done this in the past before, Matt, and it's got us nowhere really, is it? A couple of League Cups. I mean, so I'm just getting tired of this, mate. I really am. This rebuild. It is a rebuild. I don't care what anyone says. This is a rebuild again. And how long do we have to wait now, Matt, for another trophy? Or we should be signing. It's great signing players like Sarr and for brilliant. Absolutely, get release Deadwoods and bring some good youngsters for the future. But we need players now, Matt, in it. And I think that we haven't done that, have we? Apart from Romero and maybe an Emerson, not too. I ain't seen much of this Emerson, Matt. To be fair, a couple of glimpses. I've watched Raul Betis a couple of times last season. He looked all right. Couple of videos, but you can't go off them, Matt. The different league in it. The Premier League's the fastest, the best in the world. You know what I mean? And it will challenge Emerson because it's the guy we're talking about, guys. This is Emerson Royale. Welcome to Tottenham, and I hope he does great. I hope he does great for the club. But to me personally, Matt, I'll give it a 5, mate. Congratulations, he's got rid of some of his Deadwoods, which we knew it would be hard. It won't take one window. It's going to take probably another 2 windows to get finally rid of all these Deadwoods we got, Matt. But me personally, Matt, I wouldn't say failed. It's just we haven't got the right. We didn't get that other central back, that centre back, creative midfielder, striker. So I think we're
to Liverpool's window. I think we've done better.
Yeah, but if you look at their 11, Matt, their 11 probably one of the best in the league still. I mean,
I
and Spurs.
I think if our 11 stays fit and we can get Ndombele
The thing is, for the rest of the season, Matt, we're still relying on Jefferson, Sanchez, and Dyer to do this throughout the season, not just over 3 games.
Yeah, no.
I mean, if they do that over the season, mate, I'll give it a massive flipping clap. You know what I mean? I can't see it, Matt. I can see it, mate. Slowly, surely, and we'll be relying on Romero, mate, a lot, and maybe Tanganga as well if Emerson comes and does well. You know what I mean? So I'm worried in that position, that centre back position. I really am. And the creative midfielder, we ain't got no one in there who creates, Matt. Ali.
Different position now.
Different position, and he's been put in that 3 in it. Well, he's a bit more like to be on a striker sort of type thing.
More advanced, isn't he?
It's more advanced, but he's not the one to unlock defensive things like that. He's got the ability to, but he's a different player, Matt, to a creative midfielder, isn't it?
It's the CELSO or Ndombele for me. They're our most creative players.
And that's what I want to get Tungy in the right frame of mind. Someone from the club, Paratici and Nuno, really need to sit down with him and crack his head and say, listen, knuckle down now, lads, or you're out. Simple. If he doesn't do it, let's get rid of him in January then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's tell him, got to knuckle down now. It's good. If we can get Tungy in the right frame of mind, man, he's the one who can unlock defence. We know what he can do, Matt. I mean, and maybe we don't have to go out in January and go and find someone. We know January.
I think the CELSO could be played in an advanced position, and I think he can unlock a pass. I mean, I've seen him do it before. He just needs to stay bloody fit.
Yeah, absolutely. Just got a couple of comments here, matey. Just on the CELSO there, Matt. I just don't rate him, mate. I just don't rate him
massively, but I don't know if we're trying to play
absolutely, mate. He's been here a while now, Matt. He just gets a lot of injuries, and me personally, I definitely have Tungy over him all day long. I know.
Oh yeah.
He's not the fan. He's not fans' favourite at the minute, Tungy. But man, we need to get that guy's head. If we can get his head right, I think he'll be an absolute superb player for us, seriously, for the rest of the season. But I don't think swapping in with Kessie is the answer. Bringing Kessie in would be great. Would be great. Okay, but I don't think that's the answer.
Well, no, because it's another holding midfielder.
Yeah. And Bob's, yes, Bob's. Get over to Bob's Spur TV, guys. Smashing it at the minute. Great to see you two legends. Biggest concern for me is having to rely on the 17-year-old backup striker. But hey, we'll see. Big up, lads. Yes, exactly, Bob's. Me and Matt were speaking about. I gave the window a 5 out of 10, mate, because we didn't strengthen in them areas. The backup striker, the creative midfielder, another centre back. You know what I mean? People say about a winger. I think we're good in the wings in the situation. We've got Bergwijn and Lucas on one side. We've got Son and Hill on the other side. I think we are packed up in there, and I think 4 good options as well, Matt. I think it's a creative midfielder, and that's the worry, and the backup striker, because Harry Kane will get an injury. We know this, Matt. He will know good. If he goes through the whole season without an injury, mate, I'll tell you now. But we can't rely on Kane all the time and Son. You know what I mean? And this is the problem at Tottenham. And Jake says Liverpool PR team knew what they was doing. There was unrest in our fan base, and on deadline day, they announced Henderson contract to try and shut the fans up. People turning on FSG, our owners now. Derek says, get that Harry Winks out. This is what I'm saying. I think it will happen. Eventually, Winks will go. I think, as what Matt said, we can't do everything in one window. The next 2 windows are pitiful for the club. I really do. It'll be pitiful for the club. Because we're going to get onto Harry Kane's future in a minute. Because a couple of things I want to catch up with on the Harry Kane situation. Bob says we should be building, guys, not rebuilding. We've been rebuilding for 20 years. And exactly, Bob, this is exactly what I said. We've been doing this since 2001. You know what I mean? And we ain't seen nothing, have we? You know what I mean? But this is where I can see it, Bob's. I don't know what Matt's say on it, but I can see that Paratici, how he was in that interview, that him and Daniel has agreed that they're going to go down that line again, signing the young talent, which is brilliant. I'm all for it, but we need players for now. I mean, we can't keep relying on these 18-year-olds and 17-year-olds, 20-year-olds all the time. Like what Arsenal are doing at the minute. Facts and Stats says this window will be the big one. Paratici will have had time to do his magic. It was too much for one window. What I say, Facts and Stats, January is a hard window. I'm not expecting nothing in January. It'll be next summer now. Maybe bring one in or have Kessie on the contract agreement for next summer, but I can't see nothing really unless we get injuries and our hand is forced to go back into that window. And Jake, is that Emerson the guy who signed for Barca for like 2 weeks? And absolutely, and he had a 300 million release clause, and it sounded like Barca in big money problem, and they needed money out and they need money in, and they got rid of him. I will come back with Matt and Nick. I know Matt wants to say something on a couple of these things. Bob says, Facts and Stats, mate. And don't you think finding a backup striker we've been in need from the last day of last season isn't long enough? Leavely is still signing the checks. 100% right. He's still there. It sounds like he's not getting more involved. It looks like Paratici and Hitchin are doing the deals, but he still signs the last check off. Which is the worrying thing. Facts and Stats, I'd like to see Brian Hill. Yeah, get more. Absolutely. This is what me and Matt were saying. Brilliant. I'd love to see him. Box on TV, I hope he takes a back seat perfectly and the back seat of a car sinking to the bottom of a lake. Matt, was there anything you want to go back on any of these comments here, mate?
Yeah, I do think backup strikers, a problem. I just think we're going to have to suck it up until at least January to, maybe Scarlett. I'm not saying he will come good, but I think in this Conference League, I think it'll give him a chance to have a couple of run-outs. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I think we are building. I don't think it's as such a rebuild. I think we're trying to build or try and build some foundations back in the house again. The problem is we're not in the Champions League, so we can't sign the players we want to sign because
Absolutely.
all these
This
other
is the
clubs,
problem there.
like Liverpool, come along and go, all right, we'll offer you Champions League football. And our goal is to get back into the Champions League, and then we'll hopefully go and get the positions that we need with quality. All these people saying, why didn't we get Sabitzer? Why didn't end of the day, we would have had no chance in hell if Bayern Munich were to come in for him. We're not as big as Bayern Munich. That's just a fact. They're title winners. They're a massive club. Unfortunately, we're not there at that moment in time. At the moment, I know 15 million seems like a steal.
But without Champions League football, you're correct.
Yeah, players like that we're not going to get. But if you look at overall the transfer window, it's been very hard for people to sign players. I know obviously City got Grealish, Chelsea, and they're going to get Lukaku, but Chelsea had actually sold quite a lot of players this window, actually, and they're youngsters again.
But Matt, would you be worried about that especially in that Conference League, Matt, against that team from Portugal? Absolute no one. They're probably like Burnley's off the Premier League, right? We struggled in that, Matt. We had to bring Kane back and the Sons and things like that. And that's the worry, Matt. This is the worry. This is what I was hoping, that this Conference League, we can give some of these youngsters a go and leave Kanes and Sons and all that out. I mean, leave them at home and resting. It doesn't look like it's going to happen, Matt. It looks like we're going to have to rely on these players again, because these players are just not good enough at this present moment, mate. Our depth is not really as strong as what we first thought from last season. I think we've got weaker. And relying on Scarlett, he got found out. I mean, he didn't really do nothing, did he? Really, in the company. And this is what I'm saying. If he wants to, he's got to step up himself. I mean, the club can big him up, we can big him up, but he's got to start playing for himself. He's got to do it himself. You know what I mean? And he's got to come out and perform. You know what I mean?
Whoever's in midfield that day has to supply him the partner. Winks and CELSO on that night were woeful.
Scarlett as well. I think his game will come good. I think he'll evolve as his career will go on. I think he'll understand that if he watches Harry Kane, because it happens to Harry Kane where he don't get no service, and Harry Kane stays wait on. I've got to drop in to receive the ball and make something happen. Maybe Scarlett should watch a few of Harry Kane's videos and and try and adapt to his game of how Harry Kane, when he ain't got the service. I mean, there's been plenty of times Harry Kane ain't got the service, Matt, but he's involved himself, mate. He's got himself better as a player. He's dropped in. Maybe Jose was that as well. We can credit Jose for that as well, where he drops in now in that number 9 and he drops deeper and he collects the ball and we have runners of like Son behind him and it works. Maybe Scarlett should be tried something like that. But
difference is with Scarlett,
it's too much on his shoulders. He's 18-year-old.
We should be using his pace in behind, like what Leicester do with Vardy. Because I think could be as quick as that. He's only young, 17, 18.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Matt. He's got a big future ahead.
We don't have anyone with the quality, like with a playmaker who can feed the ball in behind. That's the problem. Until we solve that situation, he probably won't come good because we don't play to his strengths. Because he's not Kane, and he never will be, because they're completely two different players of how their style of football. One's hold up play and use his strength. The other one's pace. Maybe with both of them up front that could work. I don't know.
Absolutely. We've got Jake saying, Simon, if I gave you the option this season for either Spurs to stay where they are and win the league, or Arsenal stay where they are and get relegated, which you choose, Simon? I should have to choose the league. I mean, I don't care about Arsenal. If you gave us the league title, I don't think me or Matt or any other Spurs fan will say, oh yeah, we'd rather have Arsenal relegated. I don't care about Arsenal. They're in the mud at the minute, but Arsenal will come good.
It would be funny to see relegated, though. It would be quite funny.
It will be funny. But would you scout that over winning the league?
Well, the way I could see it, if they were to they could never give us banter ever again, because all we'd have to go is, oh, you got relegated. We've never been relegated. So automatically trophies and all that. We won it in your ground becomes irrelevant because you got relegated. You got relegated before us.
I don't think it's a poll out there, isn't it? Put it out as a poll, but me personally, everyone, definitely.
The football world and Arsenal fan TV, it would be hilarious.
The thing is, that won't come in my head. I know what you're trying to say. It'll be mental to just watch it, but win the league, mate. I'll grab that any day. And because Arsenal at the minute, but the thing is, I think once Arsenal get all their players back, they will come good. I mean, I don't think they're going to be there when they are, but it'll be funny if it is. But I mean, I don't care about Arsenal. I really don't. Me personally, but everyone's got their own opinion. They'd rather have Arsenal relegated and have a bit of fun on it. That's in that stage, Jake. If I was asked that question, my answer would be win the league, hands down. Yeah, fuck Arsenal, exactly. Harry stinks. Not good enough. Absolutely.
Well,
so yeah,
arguably, I've got to give Winks credit the other night in the conference games. I thought he was brilliant. I know it was only the Rio, whatever they're called, but he was good that night. I have to give him credit.
That's the only thing he turns up for, though, Matt, isn't it? The guy, or maybe he's been kicked up the arse with.
Maybe Nuno will give him a chance. And he goes, right, if I work hard, maybe I can try and get, or at least be part of the squad. I don't know.
Going forward, Matt, these are sort of players we need to start getting rid of as well. You know what I mean, he's done well. Let's say they've done well to get rid of who they've got and how much money they've saved. But you can go on about how much money they saved. They haven't really got in another striker. I mean, they could have easily on that transfer deadline day gone and got an Edouard. Gone and got an Edouard. 8 million quid. Crystal Palace signed him for 8 million. Okay, Tottenham, they would have said, right, Tottenham, you pay 15. Even 15 million quid, mate. He's 23 years old, something like that. Seriously, okay, I've seen some of the sitters he's missed and some said if you don't want him, I don't care, mate. Seriously, I think he'll become a good striker. Alongside Harry Kane.
Should have got Danny Ings.
Don't think Danny Ings wanted to come to Tottenham and play second fiddle, mate. And that's
just do a gentleman's agreement, like Levy normally doesn't go. Yeah, you'll be starting. He never obeys by his gentleman's agreement. The Kane situation says that. So tell him he's going to be one of the main men, and he probably will.
But apparently, it wasn't that. It was the money. He's on £150,000 at Aston Villa.
Do you not think he would have took a little pay cut just to play for Spurs rather than Villa?
Money talks, Matt. Seriously, mate. Some players would have come to Tottenham because of Tottenham. Some players, 150 grand a week. Tottenham probably only offered him probably 80 grand a week. You know what I mean, it's a massive.
The thing is, he would have played for Spurs. He wouldn't have just been sat on the bench. He would have played. He could have played up front with Kane. He could have played in the conference.
He doesn't play two strikers, does he? And that's the thing with Nuno in a minute. He wants to. He wants to, but yeah,
that's the problem. He doesn't have two strikers.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from there, mate. But I think overall, Matt, if we look at the whole picture of this transfer window, you were saying a 7, and I'm saying a 5.
I think with keeping Kane as well and signing Son.
Keeping Kane, it's like a signing, mate. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, it's a good thing that, Matt. Yeah, keeping Kane was massive. Didn't like how it rolled, and I think it could have been handled a bit better. I think Kane could have handled it a bit better himself. But me personally, I think keeping Kane is massive. Absolutely massive, even if it's for one more season, because we'll get onto it anyway in a minute about Harry Kane. But Matt, before we get into the Kane situation, that's the transfer roundup, mate. But for one more time, mate, let's welcome Emerson Royal to Tottenham. I just hope he does well for this club.
Excited for him.
And we got this player as well, Papa Sarr for next season, an absolute talent. He's an absolute talent, this guy. I'm looking forward to seeing him. And there's the rest of them guys. Romero, we know what we're going to get from him. We already know Ryan Hill will kick it off. He'll get bums off seats again, I think.
Well, we just got to hope that Romero hasn't got an attitude problem like a CELSO or an Ndombele, because it hasn't been a good start.
Apparently, this is what Emerson. Apparently, Emerson's got a massive attitude problem as well. He's a good player, apparently, but he's got an attitude problem as well. Spurs do actually have a reputation of signing players with attitude problems, and it doesn't end up good. Got Bob Spurs says the fact you say Winks played well against a team named after chocolate takes it all. Matt, just think, unfortunately, his best isn't good enough for Spurs, buddy.
I'm not saying he's good. I'm just saying I've given him a lot of I always swear at him on the TV or like when I'm there. You can ask my other up when I was like, fucking Winks again. He's giving the ball away. I'll give him credit, like any player, if he plays well. I think he deserved a mention the other night.
I can see where you're coming from, Matt. Even doesn't matter who you're playing, but
I know it's a crap team. But
we
if
know
he's giving
for
his
sure,
all
Matt.
if he's giving his all for the shirt, I don't care. And if he puts in tackles like that, like he did against, if he does play against like a Palace and comes on and shows that energy and that passion. End of the day, this guy played against Real Madrid only a couple of seasons ago and got man of the match.
Yeah.
So
but the thing is that
he's got it in him.
It's not consistent. That's the thing.
It's not
only Harry, not only Winks in the team. There's a lot of other players not consistent enough. But he's one of the biggest. He's not consistent enough. No. He's not good enough for Tottenham.
But I just wish Ndombele would have the same passion that a Winks kind of does for playing for. I know he's from Spurs and he kind of get, but if Ndombele could get that passion, then it'd be. I just think
Paratici now. It's down to him. He gets paid his money now. It's down to him and Nuno. They need to sit him down. Or maybe they already have. I mean, we don't know. But they need to give him hard talk. And if it's not going to work, get rid. I mean, it's just simple as that. Just get rid. But swapping him for Kessie, I don't think it's the answer. Me personally, Matt. Facts and Stats said, would have, could have, should have. Our transfer window is in a nutshell. Yes, absolutely. It's like it every year. Bob Spurs says 4 out of 10 for me. Keeping Kane gets no points. We had a contract regardless. Biggest flaw is not getting that striker in. Can't help we'll end up regretting it. Absolutely, Bob's. Absolutely. Keeping Kane, I think Bob was good. Was good for the club. But as you said, regardless, he had a contract 3 years still. We held everything. I mean, the ball was in our court. We didn't have to accept nothing. But what they was offering us was ridiculous. I mean, absolute ridiculous money. I mean, pathetic. That's what I'll say. But they went and paid 100 million for Jack. You know what I mean? That just says it all. And I agree, not getting a striker in. And not only that, Bob's another centre-back. I mean, quality centre-back to go with Romero. A creative midfielder. Who's creating in midfield, mate, when the game goes sour and the game goes quiet? Who is going to unlock these? Who's going to unlock this defence? You know what I mean? We haven't got that type of player. Modric, that was the key when we didn't really replace Modric. Eriksen was good at times. I don't think he was on Modric's level, but we haven't replaced it, have we? And that's the problem as well. I mean, key areas we haven't replaced. Thanks for your comments, though, guys. Facts and Stats say 6 out of 6.5 transfer window for me, only because of the amount of dead wood gone and the new up-and-coming talent youngsters we've got. And keeping Kane and Son boosted that number up. It would have been a 4 out of 5. Donks. I need to see Winks be subs in against a Prem side and do the business before I praise him. I'll be burnt before. Thanks for your comments there, pal. Derek says Winks thinks he is better than he actually is. He needs to get his head out of his backside. So that's the transfer window roundup, guys. Matt gives it a 7. I'll give it a 5. Purely because we didn't actually get all the position covered. I know what Matt says, you can't do it in one window, but they had the chance on that day. We could have. Eunice, yes, Eunice. Long time no see. Wow, it's been a long time since I've been here. How's it going, Simon, Matt? 6 a.m. here. Eunice, thanks very much for coming on, pal. 6 a.m. Wow, brilliant. Thank you very much. We are good. We haven't been doing much through work and things like that. We've been long hours. But hopefully now, me and Matt, we can sort out a few shows and we can chuck out a few during the week. But thanks for coming in there, matey. So the next one, Matt, Harry Kane's future, mate. Wow. To me, what I say, mate, it wasn't great. As I said, it wasn't handled great, was it? By Harry Kane himself. Okay, he said he had his gentleman agreement. Now he's saying that he's turning around saying now he's he loved when the got the reception from the fans because he knew the Man City deal weren't going ahead. I mean, he's turned his words round. And I think how it's going to go, Matt, I think it's going to go like a new contract. Apparently, his brother's negotiating a new contract as we're speaking, and it could be a release fee of close to £100 million to £120 million for next summer. I don't think they'll let him go in January. Spurs will be absolutely stupid to let him go in January. I think if anything's going to happen, it'll be next summer. But I think it'll be between, if they have a release clause, 100 to 120. If we're lucky to get that now, Matt. So Matt, Kane going forward, is it his last season at Spurs, or do you think he'll sign his new contract and go on and be a Tottenham Hotspur legend in breaking Jimmy Greaves' record?
I personally think the second option. I think it'll be a big contract. I think it'll be near 400 grand a week, possibly. I think somehow we'll do it, and I think he deserves it. And I think he'll have a good season. I think he'll have another really good season again. I think he'll win the Golden Boot. I do. I just think he will. I think we normally, when players like, I remember Modric and when he didn't go to Chelsea that season, he had a blinder of a season. The same happened to Bale when he didn't get his move. There was rumours of it, and then he went and scored 25 goals. I think Kane will knuckle down, and I think even if he gets 20 goals this season or 25, he's 10 behind Jimmy Greaves then. So then I think if I'm in his position, you might as well go and break the record for Spurs. I think he will sign a contract, but I do think there'll be a release clause. But I think with Levy and the idiot that his brother is, I think there'll probably be a high release clause of like 150 to 200. Personally, I think Haaland's available next summer. I think Mbappe's available next summer. Man United have just signed Ronaldo. I don't know where he's going to go, to be honest. So I think that was his chance to go to City. I think they'll move on. They'll probably get Haaland next summer, and that'll be that. I think
the only place I'll see, Matt. The only place I'll see is PSG. They'll get Mbappe next summer, and he could be going to PSG. But they got the money, mate. I mean, they got the money, and he can link up with Poch again. Is that his first choice? Maybe not, but
I mean, even if he extends his contract, like he's still got he's still got what, 3? Is it 3 years left?
3 years.
3 years. So even if he did a year contract, he'd be tied down to 4 years. So then we'd want at least 150, at least. I
just think everything will go against him, mate. I think that I think this summer was probably the time to get the maximum transfer of 150, 160.
I do think,
but I think now they drop in value, not because of his performance. We know Harry Kane. He won't drop his performance, but he won't drop his levels. But I think his age, he'll be another year older, Matt. Don't know about his injuries, do we? And I don't think people will start looking at it next summer and say, well, he's 29. He's coming into his 30s. Do we want to pay 150 million? Where we got Haaland.
70 million Haaland next summer because he's got a release clause. You'd go and get him. You just would.
Yeah, exactly, Matt. I mean, so guys in the comments, what do you think of Harry Kane's future? Do you reckon he'll stay for the future now? Do you reckon he'll go next summer? Do you reckon there'll be a massive contract with a release clause? Just tell us what you think in the thing, guys. And while you're at it, guys, before me and Matt we speak more on this, subscribe, like, and share, guys, and send it out there, guys. On the road to 1K subs. If you ain't, guys, sub to the channel, guys. Get all your friends and family. Doesn't cost nothing. It's free to sub, guys. If they don't want to watch no more, doesn't matter. It just helps the channel.
I'm actually glad he didn't go to City though, because I feel like they wouldn't respect him as much as we did. I don't know if you saw, was it Noel or Liam Gallagher when they announced obviously he was staying at Spurs? He did a tweet, didn't he? Pretty much calling him a bottle job and stuff like that. And they can't even fill their stadium, mate. So like, they're not proper fans. They're not a proper club. They're just run by oil. It's as simple as that.
As well, Matt, we're not getting full capacity at our grounds, are we? Really? Because against City, we only had 59.
Yeah, but you look at the atmosphere difference.
Yeah, the atmosphere difference. Yeah, we can't compare.
We are a
Tottenham to City.
proper football club, and even Jamie Carragher came out, before the window finished, and went, Kane needs to think more about, he's actually loved where he is. Is it just all about trophies, or is it about, breaking records and being loved and being a proper legend of a football club like Steven Gerrard is to Liverpool? Or, Gerrard could have gone to Man United, could have gone to other clubs, but he decided to stay at Liverpool. Rooney did it for, when he was at Man United. He nearly went to Chelsea, didn't he? So there are examples where they've stuck around. And yes, I know they won trophies, but I still believe we're on the right track, and I think we will win something. I don't know what, but we will.
Right, and there's some comments here.
And if you look at Ronaldo, he's still going, and he's 36. Why can't Kane do the same? He looks after himself just as well. So
yeah, we'll get onto that in a minute. Actually, Matt, we'll go back to that little one what you just said there. Kane will be at Spurs for the rest of his career. Derek says. Eunice says I'll give our window 4 out of 10. So no striker, no right wing, no proper midfielder. Plus, this Romero, CELSO and Sanchez COVID rules is very bad for the club. Absolutely, Eunice. I've got Jake says, compare the interview that your sporting director did to the one Arsenal's Edu did. I think you can say Paratici will do well for Spurs, and for Edu at Arsenal will. He was talking about top 10. Yeah, he said he didn't want to know about the position in the league. He just wants the players. He wants to see the players do well.
He's been on holiday during the transfer window. Paratici's been at every game, shouting from the dugouts and on his phone, getting deals done, trying to work.
Absolutely. Eunice says, if he does go, who would we bring in? Vlahovic refuse us. Martinez sign a new contract, or is it about to what's left? That's another point as well.
There's options. Do you know what?
There'll be options. We'll still have Vlahovic and Martinez.
I don't think he did turn us down, Vlahovic. I just don't think we wanted to produce the money, personally.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe he didn't want to come forward because he wasn't guaranteed.
It was only his first season he had last season in a top league, so maybe he just wants another season to see if he can do it again. Yeah,
absolutely, pal. But going back onto that Harry Kane situation there about when you said Ronaldo's face, I think Ronaldo is an ultimate athlete. I ain't saying Harry Kane's not an ultimate athlete. It's just the body difference between him and Kane. Kane's doesn't smoke, doesn't drink. He looks like he looks after himself, but he seems a bit on a bit of a podgy side than like to Cristiano Ronaldo. Ronaldo's on a different planet to anyone else, isn't it? On his physique, Matt, because you probably know more than because you work in that industry.
His physique he's got the physique of like a 25-year-old, and he's 10 years older than that or more.
That's what I'm saying, Matt.
He lives and breathes it. Like he doesn't drink any physical drinks. He just drinks water. He even said it himself, and if you watch like his if you get a chance on iPlayer, you can watch his documentary. I can't remember which, just put Cristiano Ronaldo in, but also his film's very insightful because you actually what he does, like 3 hours a day of training, like in the gym. He's got his own gym, and then he'll go and do football training, but he'll be there like 2 hours early, and he'll just be practicing shooting, free kicks, headers, and he's there before everyone else, even like the staff. So it's pretty crazy, but he lives and breathes it, and that's his life.
Yeah, absolutely, mate, absolutely. And we're probably not saying like Harry Kane don't look after himself. He looks like he does. It just seems like
not to that extent.
He hasn't got the right diet as what Ronaldo's got, has he?
I don't think anyone's got the right diet compared to Ronaldo. I just think he's super.
It seems like Ronaldo just works purely every other day, mate, on his fitness, on his physique side. Do you know what I mean? Keeping himself at that pivotal. Because knowing Ronaldo, he knew himself, and the only Ronaldo knows can he still do it in the Premier League. I don't think he'll come to United back to the Premier League if he knew he couldn't do it. I mean, I don't think he's that kind of guy, is he? Ronaldo. I think he knows his own body, innit? He knows his own fitness, and I think he knows he can. But as people say, he won't get over 10 goals. That's bullshit, me personally. Ronaldo will get well over 10 goals this season. I don't care when he plays.
I reckon Ronaldo will be up there, easy.
Yeah, easy. Well, 100%. If he's kept as that number 9, isn't it?
He'll play up front. He'll be up front.
That focal point up front, mate. Seriously, he's finishing his next to none, mate. He's one of the best. I mean, or if not the best. I mean, if you're saying finishing in front of goal, I'll take Kane. Kane's a lethal finisher. I don't care what he says.
Most of the
in front of goal, he's lethal. I mean,
I'd say Ronaldo's up there as well.
Yeah, absolutely, pal. We've got a couple of comments in here. Facts and Stats says, "Have you heard about Hitchin?" Yeah, Hitchin. Apparently, in the press, apparently the players are upset.
Oh, it's the Sun, though. Sun.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm fed up with
so
they just don't
reading as much about it, I mean, I think they're trying to upset things again.
I'd be loving it as a player because I actually bored people who care, and like these people have bought new players in, so they're gonna want to, and they're trying to help the squad.
100%. Jake says it. He hurts that Ronaldo. It hurts that Ronaldo's back at United. He's still one of my favourite ever players, even though he played for United. Turns up in every big game. One of the true goats of all time. Fear he may give them title. You never know. I would write United out that title race. Seriously.
No, they're
what they got.
They're probably up there now, definitely.
I mean, so yeah, be very interesting that title race. But it was a funny old thing, Matt. When someone said that. Well, actually, we'll get onto it because that's the next one I want to go into. So we'll just finish on Kane here, Matt, before we get onto the next the next one I want to get onto. To me, I can see him being sold next summer, Matt. So what's your reaction, mate? Oh yeah, you really gave your reaction. You think he's gonna? I think he'll be sold next summer. I think the big contract will come. I think the release clause will be put in it because it sounds like Harry Kane's still not happy, mate, with the situation. It sounds like he hasn't got over it. Maybe now until the end of the season, hopefully he can forget about it and just concentrate on Spurs. But how he's been talking, mate, and how he's saying nothing's changed in his sight on what's happened. I mean, sounds like he does want that move still. I mean, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Because it's this, Matt. Is this team good enough to reach top 4 this season? As a squad, as a depth, as if you look into it, that transfer window, good or bad, have we got weaker or are we on par from last season? And do you think have we got a chance to hit in top 4? Because people ruling us out. People say, "Oh, you're not getting top 4." And that's what Jake in the comments said there. Liverpool with Firmino, if he is out for 2-3 months, if a Salah or a Mane goes out as well,
even if Jota got injured,
they're in trouble. I mean, so if Spurs continue this, this run, which it's going to be testing for Spurs, but are we good enough, Matt? Are we good enough? Will this squad, will this transfer window we've had, are we better? Are we weaker? Or are we on par from last season, Matt?
Okay, I'll put it this way. Last season, we were only 6 points off the top 4. We played bloody awful. Like, we were shocking that last couple of months towards the end of the season. We were 6 points away. If we would have held on against West Ham, which was the 3-3, and beaten Newcastle off that stupid decision, we would have made it. Minus all the defensive errors, we would have been up there. So I don't think this squad's bad overnight. I think defensively we were shocking last season. I think we got a centre back in. I think we got a new right back in. I think Reguilon will be better. I think the structure of the team will be better. I think we look fitter. I think we look more revitalised. Do I think we can get top 4? Yes. I think it's a possibility. But I think personally we'll become 5th or 6th. I just think it'll be too much. But it would be an improvement on last season because I'm already seeing there's a type of style, there's a type of play, and the identity's starting to come back. It's going to be a bit of a roller coaster of a ride and a season. I do think this is going to be a very competitive Premier League season. I think it's going to be great. I think there's going to be a big title race. I think there'll be 2 or 3 teams involved. I don't think someone's just going to run away with it. I think the Champions League spaces are all up for grabs. You know, if Liverpool get a couple of injuries, you know, one of Leicester or even Spurs, West Ham, you know, Aston Villa, you know, Leicester, you know, they can easily get in. There's a lot of good, you know, teams out there. We have a chance, and we're going under the radar at the moment. And I think a lot of teams are underestimating us. If we can get Bergwijn and other players chipping in with goals, we've got a chance.
Yeah, this is the problem. And we haven't got the depth, have we, to sustain a run for the top 4. But if Liverpool do get a couple of injuries, and Spurs, let's keep this one going. We could have a good run to the top 4.
I mean,
but
if we're better defensively most games, we know we've got the firepower to win a game with Kane, Son, you know, Bergwijn, Bryan Hill. So if we can keep these clean sheets and, you know, keep being tight at the back, that's where success comes from. That's how you win trophies. That's how you win titles. That's how you get top 4. You have to have a good defence, but you also have to score goals. But we know we've got goals in our team, and we always have had. So
and as you said there, Matt, I mean, we have seen the difference already. Like at the start of the season, that pressing against City. I mean, for 90 minutes. I mean, under Mourinho, we were stopping at 65, 70 minutes, tired legs.
Yeah, even against
goals away. I mean,
against Wolves, the intensity's there. We were flying ourselves at blocks in the 85th minute. You know, we weren't giving up.
Exactly. But I still see creeping in a bit that Jose defensive game still. I know Nuno is not happy with the performances so far. He's already said that against Watford after the Watford game. He's not happy with it at the minute. They're not playing his style or they're taking his philosophy, how he wants to play. Hoping that will come. Hoping once everyone's back, everyone's settled in, everyone's ready to go, and hopefully they'll start listening to his philosophy and the way he plays. And going on to Bergwijn there, Matt, I think he started the season well. I think Nuno got into his head.
If he gets a goal, I think he'll go on a run. Personally.
And I think, do you know the reason why I say I've seen a difference? I've seen a difference on international level the other night. That's the way. That's what I'm saying. Absolutely. Not only that, mate. It's just his performance when he come on for 20 minutes.
He's giving us spaces. So he's taking people on.
So he's taking it from there onto international as well, which is good. Which is good to see. I think he's taken on board what probably Nuno said and had a good talk with him. So that could be pivotal. I think he had a bit of a wake-up call when he got dropped from the Dutch team as well, because he wasn't in the World Cup, was he? Or Euros, the thing will have me, mate, if we are flying high still, around 5th, if we are 5th and around there, come January transfer window,
we've got a chance.
Karatic and Daniel Levy will have loggerheads that will say to each other, we haven't got a backup striker, we're 5th. We've got a great chance now. Do we bring in another striker? You know what I mean? To give Nuno just that bit more boost to go to the end of the season and go for that top 4. You know what I mean? That'll be pitfall for us. If we don't do it, I don't think we'll have the squad depth to finish 4th. But funny things have happened in this league, mate. Funny things have happened. You know what I mean? Just look at that when Leicester won it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. They might, you know, for all we know, they might be planning for January already. Like, I'm sure
just what I'm saying.
Something in his mind.
To me, the only thing I'll say they're planning for January is probably for next season. Probably, as I said, Kessie may have an agreement.
Maybe do what Chelsea do and get a pre-contract agreement.
And
then just bring him in in the summer.
And get rid of some of the deadwood still what's left at the club. I mean, that's got to be news for that as well. Around that time, Matt, relegation teams or other teams will be looking for players desperately to keep into leagues. You know what I mean? Yeah. So some of our deadwood may even go out of loan. You know, just get them off the books for the end of the season. But to me, if you want to say Are we good enough? Of course we're good enough. We are good enough. We have got a good team. Just don't think we've done enough in the transfer window. That's my problem. We didn't do enough. Then that, I think that'll come back to bite us on the arse at the end of the season. And I think missing out on Champions League again, Matt, for another season. If not, we have to get Europa League if we don't get Champions League.
Yeah,
I mean, because we're
we
suffering with players don't want to come to us because of Champions League football, mate.
No, yeah. But if you can show, we're doing a project and we have a good season this season, let's say we just get 5th. I don't think that's a bad season, personally, after his first... So Poch did it, and then the next season he won again and got 4th, 3rd. We've got to get back to that level. But you're right, we've got to get out of this Conference League and we've got to... Well, it'd be nice to win it, to be fair, just to get that duck off our back. The worrying thing is
that, as you said there, Matt, of course it'd be nice to win it. I mean, the first, it'll be like we are the first ones to win it and things like that, all that rubbish. But we're relying on beating, that's what Bob said, a team named after a chocolate bar. You know what I mean? We've got to bring in the Harry Kanes and think of the world. To beat these sort of teams, we shouldn't be able to rely on the Harry Kanes to come in. We should be good enough, have depth, good enough to beat these. So that just shows our depth is not good enough. The likes of Winks, CELSO, and things like that, they're not good enough, mate. Still, they're not good enough to beat these sort of teams, and it's a worrying thing. This is the worry. Before we get into it more, mate, facts that say Ronaldo will definitely be among the top 5 top goal scorers this season. I agree there, mate. Jake says, I still find it baffling that people are writing Ronaldo off, saying he can't do it anymore and he won't be able to hack it. He's not the normal 36-year-old. He's got a body like it. Yeah, it's all wait and see, Jake. I think he'll have a good season.
He outscored Lukaku last season. He outscored him.
Yeah.
So he's just a joke. He will score goals. There's no doubt about it. He's not going to come back to United and fail. No way.
Absolutely, pal. Renan says, City. How are you? Yes, Redders. How's it going, pal? Yes, we're all good. We beat you. We're top of the league. We're flying high. Without playing well. Okay, 3-1 nils. Yeah, so we're all good. Talk THFC. Thanks for coming in, pal. We don't have enough depth to get top 4. That's our problem. Yeah, and this is what I'm worried about, pal. I think we're good enough. 11, but it's a depth. I think that'll just let us down. Facts and stats say if we get top 4, it's not because our squad is good enough. It will be down to good management, luck, and other teams underperforming. Yeah, that's another way of looking at it as well. Facts and stats. I'm going to say City will run away with it. We are Man City, and we don't need a striker to win the Premiership. You never know. I think you may fall short this season.
Yeah, I think you're struggling about a striker. I like Torres, but I can't. You can't rule out United with those signings they've made. Chelsea. I think they're going to be very hard to beat this season.
Absolutely, mate.
I think City have got enough, but I just don't think they have enough goals in
them. 9th most valuable club in the world, and we shot in oldie. Yeah, and that's the problem. And Matt knows it as well, and all the rest of the Spurs fans know it. This is the problem. We want to sprout how rich we are, how well we're doing, how much profits we're doing, but we're still shopping things in place like that. Do you know what I mean?
But then we've probably been hit the worst by the pandemic with the amount of debt we were in. I'm not using it as an excuse, but at least this season, if we can get the full capacities back, we get the tickets back in, we get the revenue back in, I'm sure they know they'll need to go and spend again.
Absolutely, Matty. When I say you can beat us in a one-off game, we'll win trophies. But you haven't beaten us at the new stadium. 4 out of 4 now.
They haven't scored a goal.
They haven't scored a goal either. Yeah, absolutely.
You can't score a goal with Davinson Sanchez and Eric Dyer in our back four.
So I'll round it off, and then I'll let Matt round it off as well before we get on to our last one before we head out. Is the team good enough? 100%, yeah. To reach the top 4?
Maybe a push. It depends on injuries.
It's gonna take other teams underperforming. That's what Facts and Stats said. Luck, good management, and consistency. We've got to. That's the big key. We've got to stay consistency. We can't switch off. But with having Davinson Sanchez and having Eric Dyer in that defence still worries me, because they will switch off at times. They will not. They won't be consistent.
Like I said, I think the strength of Dyer, if the balls come into the box, he's very good. Sanchez, if he's not, he's good in one-on-one sort of positions as long as he's not too aggressive and stupid. I think it's more up to the midfield. If we can dictate the game in midfield and stop the other team dominating the ball and putting pressure every time, on our box. And I think last season it was too much for the defence, because it was just a bombard, like just keep coming at us, wave after wave after wave.
Yeah.
You have to try and stop the wave, because like any defence, they will creak if you just keep coming at them. No one's got 100%. Perfect record. Even Van Dijk himself, there's still ricks in his game as any defender, but it's up to the midfield and other players to get on the ball and help us in possession and stop teams really just keep coming at us.
Absolutely, Matt. So that's what we say about that. It'll be close. It'll be close. I'm not ruling it out. No,
neither am I. But yeah, I do think it'll be hard.
Transfer windows let us down a bit. I think that and many other factors may stop us from getting top 4 this year. I tell you now, if we finish top 4, we've done well. We've had a fantastic season, fantastic season. You know what I mean? Okay, we don't win a trophy. People say, "Oh, you've got your own top 4." But top 4
is like a trophy. That's what people don't understand. The amount of money it brings in.
It's that as well, Matt. It's players who want to come to you.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can sign the players that like your Dybalas, like people who go.
And I don't think there'll be no flipping excuses then if we get top 4 this season to go into that summer transfer window and go and get the players what we was linked with in the summer. There's no excuses then, Matt. No excuses. They'll have the money. Hopefully, it stays this way. No more lockdowns.
He's not here to fail, is he? He's not in his
absolutely.
nature. He'll resign if he thinks it's going wrong, because he'll be like, no, I'm out.
So to round up on that one, guys, on that question, I'm saying we just missed out. Don't rule it out though. Matt said we'll come close.
Close. We were close last season. We weren't far off, and we were terrible. So
yeah. So we'll wait. We'll wait and see on that one. But let's say City guys. Derek says top 5 at best, plus the Europa Conference, maybe FA Cup.
I'd actually take that.
Yeah. And then it says, if you want to win the biggest prize, Champions League, you need to avoid Chelsea and Spurs, as you can't beat them with all the money in the world, and we even bench our best player, Kane. Laugh out loud. So the last one, Matt, we come to. It's this one. Oh dear, sorry, I didn't mean to have that one. Here we go, Matt. Prison Break.
You like that one, didn't you? Yeah.
Matt, go on. Just tell us, ran up the situation on this, mate. On this situation, how it unfolded last night, but even before then, just tell us what you know.
From what I heard, obviously, I know the Premier League had meetings with all the clubs, and they all basically said, no, we're not going to let these players go to red-listed countries. So Salah wasn't going to go play for Egypt in a red list country, and obviously the club have told them not to go. And they're not the only ones, because there's 2 other players in the Premier League that have done it, and they've kind of pretty much gone, no, screw this. We want to play for our national country. It's against Brazil. As we know, it's a massive World Cup qualifier, but also it is a tough one, because I get you want to play for your country, and they're very passionate about playing for Argentina, obviously. They've just come off the back of winning the Copa America, Messi's first major trophy for Argentina. But yeah, they shouldn't have done it. I think the club should have maybe tried and do more to stop him. hopefully the fine's big enough so they don't do it again. But the problem with fining them, you may get a backlash from these two players. They go, hang on a minute, we just wanted to play for our country. You know, you also don't know what sort of influence the Argentinian FA have had. They might have had a word, you know, rung up the CELSO and Romero and gone, right, well, if you're not coming, you're letting our country down. You'll be hated in our country because you haven't turned up for one of the biggest games in Argentina. And the amount of bad publicity and press they'd get, I'm not using it as an excuse, but it wouldn't be friendly that way. You know what Argentinians are. They're very passionate and a very loyal, fan base, and they show that kind of passion. I do think they have been a little bit selfish because I think it could affect us, especially against Crystal Palace, a big game after international break. And if Rodon's not fit, we're going to have to play Japhet Tanganga at probably centre back, and then have to change. You have to switch out that defence, and then it makes Eric Dyer maybe a bit more nervous because he's got to try and help Tanganga out, and then Doherty's coming in at right back, but he normally plays right wing back, and then that is imbalanced in the squad. So there's advantages, and I get that. I get why they want to play for their country, but I do think the Argentinian FA have maybe threatened them somehow and gone, well, if you're not going to come and join us, then you're not going to be part of the squad, or you're not going to be. Yeah, we can. I just think they've maybe had their hand forced. But same as Buendia and Martinez, but we're going to have to move on from the situation. 10 days of isolation. Obviously, Sanchez doesn't get away with this because he went, to Colombia. I know he's in Croatia now. His 10-day isolation starting. He will be back for the Chelsea game, and so will the CELSO and Romero. I mean, at least they'll be back for that, but they won't start. Well, Sanchez will probably start against Chelsea, but I doubt Romero and the CELSO sort of will be in. I think my biggest thing with Romero is he hasn't been fit enough to play in the Premier League, and he's been complaining of a little knock during Europa Conference games, and yet he can go to Argentina and play maybe 90 minutes for them. So I don't know. I think that maybe there's a bit of miscommunication somewhere, and I think the club need to resolve it and handle it well, rather because you don't want to piss these two off, but because they're part of our squad, aren't they? There's nothing we can do to. So it's a very delicate situation, but I think you just need to maybe Spurs need to have a word with the Argentinian FA, and maybe have a stern word with them, like Sir Alex Ferguson used to do with, the England internationals when he didn't want to let his players, go.
Yeah.
And I think they have to, find the players and tell them why. It's a serious thing, and there's still a global, pandemic going on. And amount of kids and role models these footballers are, it's not going to look good in the press, is it?
No, absolutely, Matt. Absolutely. I think if it is true that Spurs and the Argentina and the FA have advised them not to travel to these red list countries, and they've gone off their own back, it's disgraceful. They've betrayed Tottenham. Betrayed the team, and they put others in a dangerous situation. You know what I mean? And I don't think they understand that. But what I don't get, Matt, they're flown out there. How the hell have they been let in? They've been flown. They know they come from the UK.
Well, yeah.
It's a red list country.
They
how did
posted
security,
a photo the night they were leaving on the plane.
Exactly, but how did the border over there let them in?
Yeah.
Knowing they're coming from UK, they know that's traveling from the UK. Why has it got that? Why has it gone that far? They have to stop a game last night.
Yeah.
Surely, if they were back at the hotels with Argentina with the squad, surely the authorities would have known. Why didn't
they just go to the hotel and say, "Look, the game's not happening. These guys have got to go."
Apparently, what they've done, Matt, I don't know how true this is. They've gone under different names. I don't know how true it is.
Come on, that would be fraud. They'd be arrested for that.
Well, this is what the investigation's going on, Matt. Apparently, I don't know how true it is. I want to see what's gone on completely, the truth. But apparently, they've gone on. They're under two different names, and it could be fraud. It could be going down that. It could be prison. I mean, because you're frauding. And as you said, it's a global pandemic at the minute. You're putting other lives at risk going to a red list country. You know what I mean? And coming back, okay, you got to isolate. You can't go nowhere near it, but still, you've gone over there. You know what I mean? So I think they disrespect the club. I think it's disgraceful how they've done it. And I don't blame, because if it is Tottenham have said that they're not travelling to, Tottenham have done all they can. As you said, Matt, they've gone, fuck yeah, I'm off. I ain't standing around this. Not a chance. Lockman, Yu Sung Hunjin, Eugene. I think it's Eugene. Yeah, this is Eugene. He's got his own channel. Thanks for coming in, pal. They wouldn't have left if the club disallowed it. Nuno did say he would not stop them.
You can't stop them. That's the difference.
That's the thing. Obviously, you can't stop them, but Tottenham will have said you can't travel. They 100% will have said you can't travel to these red list countries. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's a massive disrespect. I think they need to be dealt with massive fine, and they need to be dealt with properly and told and explained. You can't be doing this. You can't be putting other people's lives at risk. Okay, as you said, Matt, it is a massive game. I mean, no player's going to want to miss playing against your fierce rivals, but Brazil. You're not going to want to miss it, are you?
No.
But there is other things. You'll get loads of chances to play Brazil. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I know it's in a massive World Cup qualifier, but you put your own players and your own country at risk as well, in jeopardy. You know what I mean? Now you really fucked the chances up. You know what I mean? Because obviously now they've suspended the game. Was it 4 minutes into the game, Matt?
Yeah,
something like that. Would that get played? Will that get replayed, or will they just?
Don't really know. Problem is, it'll be a fixture clog up now, won't it? Where will they fit it in?
And but as Eugene says here, but worrying criminal charges will be brought against them. So yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I just don't think there should be any internationals this season. Personally, I know there's a World Cup coming up, but maybe they could do something where, I don't know, where the teams just automatically go into the World Cup. Then you don't have to do these silly international matches. Well, not to red list countries anyway.
Yeah,
you're just asking for trouble, like bringing a virus from a different country into ours.
But as you said there, Matt, as you said there, if it's red list countries, right, and most of these players are coming from countries that they've been banned to go to that country.
Yeah.
As you said, they should just call them off. Say, right, listen, we can't fill the team.
Or why can't they just play? I know they won't be able to play Messi, but why can't they just play their youngsters who are actually in Argentina, and then it won't make a difference? Yeah,
absolutely. Because maybe I don't think they'll be the only two.
Mate, there's so many South American players in the Premier League. Like, I just don't know how it's going to affect it overall, and even like African players, and I really don't know how this is going to work, to be honest, until the red light is lifted, which it won't be. So I think there's going to be a lot of this season, and I think a lot of teams could be in trouble, and I think there will be injuries.
And it's the problem. It's signing them sort of players, isn't it, from South America, from the African nations and things like that, because of the African nations in January and of things like this. You know what I mean? It's a risk, and they're good quality players, but to me, and that's what Eugene said there, it could be criminal charges if that's true. What's been said, they've gone under different names, because that's fraud. I mean, that's carrying a 10-year. That's a 10-year prison sentence with a £10,000 fine. I don't think it'll go that way, Matt.
No,
because they're actually football players. I mean, they get away with a lot of
stuff.
A lot of stuff. But I think they should be getting hit hard, more than 10,000. They should be a week's wage.
I can't see Daniel Levy being lenient with this. I think he'll be very annoyed because it's put a bad press back on Tottenham. again because we'll be in the news for it.
Absolutely.
So I think he's going to handle it somehow.
And Eugene says, being human, we make mistakes, but the Argentina FA screwed it up big time. That's what Matt said. Absolutely. They've obviously got into their heads in it.
Yeah.
This is a massive
100%.
game.
They threatened them. They said, we're a massive game. If you're not going to turn up, then you're not going to be in the World Cup squad. I reckon they've said something like that. Or you're not going to be in any of the other games. And then if your World Cup place is, it's been taken away, that's massive for players, especially if you want to, you dream of playing for in a World Cup for your country. It's what every footballer dreams of.
Absolutely. We got Harry, the Arsenal fan. Did you know the table is upside down? Did you know the table is upside down? Hey, Harry, what's going on, pal? Bottom of the league, Arsenal in the mud.
Haven't scored a goal.
Tottenham.
Haven't scored a goal.
I was looking forward to August's goal of the month, and I was waiting for the Arsenal one to come, but the only one they can show the one in the Carabao Cup. But I don't know if that. How's it going, though, Harry? Nice. Thanks for coming in, pal. But yeah, it's too early to say yet, mate. I think Arsenal will get out of it. They like to say it, but they will. At the end of the day, they'll get all their players back. But they won't finish above us as 1-4. So, and Eugene says, what did he say? What's he saying? What's that?
I think it's meant to be like farcical, but with FIFA in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's what the Premier League need to do next. They need to have a massive meeting with FIFA and the UEFA and sort this international stuff out because it's going to get silly.
Yeah, it needs saying, Matt. It needs saying straight down the line that if it's red list countries, Premier League players are not coming, or European players. I mean, obviously across Europe as well, they're not coming. It's simple as that.
Could you just not have a massive World Cup? I know, just have most teams in it just for one season. I don't know. Yeah. There must be a way they can do it.
Yeah, it must be, but it didn't look good, did it, mate? With officials.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for the Brazilian FA. It's embarrassing for the Argentinian FA. It's embarrassing for the Premier League clubs players that are involved.
Yeah, Harry's come back and said, score a few against West Brom. You never know if they include them. Lose against Norwich this weekend, and then big Antonio Conte.
I don't see him coming. I really don't.
Not a chance. Antonio Conte has just taken up a role at Sky Italia anyway. That don't mean nothing because Jose Mourinho did that and he come to Tottenham. But that don't mean nothing.
He turned us down, and we've got probably, Arsenal have already spent 135 million, the most in the window, and they've wasted it on crap. There's no money left, and he has to have money. Yeah,
he's already said that he needs money where he goes to buy his players. I mean, he doesn't wait around for his youth. He's already said that. He doesn't. It's not like he said he doesn't work with the youth, but that's not his style. His style is to bring the players already made now to win big trophies.
I mean, from Edu's interview the other day, they seem pretty happy with Arteta. Like it's a big project that they're going forward with. So I personally,
and they're not worried about where they finish. He just goes on and says he just hopes that the team can gel. He's looking forward to watching some of this.
It's only 3 games. I'm pretty sure they'll beat Norwich. If you lose against Norwich, then you really are in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. But Harry, thanks for the comment there, mate. Eugene says Gio and Romero should be punished, but should be given a chance to prove their worth. Yeah, I'm not saying they should out the club straight, but no,
they'll get a fine and
punished, massive fine. Not 10,000. I need a week's wage, at least a week's wage, to tell them like we're not having it. Nah, absolutely. And Jake says San Marino have scored a goal before Arsenal this season. Dear. Arteta will get it right eventually. You two are getting the link with Sergio Aurier to Arsenal. Could be
you can have him. He's a liability and
Harry, that's how bad it's got for Arsenal. If you're hinging on for Sergio Aurier to dip inside for Arsenal.
From what I've heard, he prefers Everton, so you really have fallen if he wants Everton over. Jesus.
Seriously, Harry, mate, it's gone way back for Arsenal. If you seriously going to want Sergio Aurier,
fucking have him.
Seriously. He's not bad every now and then going forward. He's weightless in defence.
He'll have a worldy game, won't he, where he scores a banger or plays really well, and then the next 3 games he'll be crap.
Unless Kroenke gives Conte 500 million plus to spend as actor, Eugene, it's not happening. Conte needs big money. He's already said he doesn't wait around to win trophies. He wants it there and then. He wants the money there and then to bring these big players there and then. And he knew Tottenham weren't a big pull at the time because of Champions League football. He knew some of the players he wanted. Before he took the job, he probably talked to one or two top targets he wanted, and they said, no, I'm not coming to them. And he probably said, do you know what? This is a bigger job than what I thought. I'm not going to Tottenham. You know what I mean? That's not the job for me at the minute. And if he says that for Tottenham, Arsenal in a worse situation. I don't think he'll come. Unless you pay him silly contract. That's the only way I can see him coming. I really. And Harry comes back with Sol Campbell is coming to mind. No way. I have to admit, Sol Campbell, when he took him, he done well for Arsenal, was a fantastic footballer. Fantastic defender. I have to admit, as a Tottenham fan, it's flipping hard to say that. Yeah. But he was a very, very good defender, and he done well getting Sol Campbell. He had good years there.
Useless
coach. I think he should take the option to come Arteta's assistant. I think he'll do well. But coming to mind, no, Sergio Aurier, mate, he's not a Sol Campbell. Sergio Aurier is not a Sol Campbell, mate. He's far from a Sol Campbell.
I've got a funny one for Harry. Here we go. Lee Mack has scored more goals at the Etihad than Arsenal have since 2019. Let that sink in. Lee Mack, the comedian.
Oh, no. Oh, dear. Oh, dear, Harry.
In fact, he's actually scored more goals than Arsenal this season in the...
You know what, the Arsenal fans at the minute, they've got nothing to come back to us. They're waiting for their time limit. They're waiting because they will give us some sticks soon.
There will be something along the way.
Because if they beat us in that London derby, my God, we were only the flipping last of it. It's like they'll won the league. Do you know what I mean? I'm hoping that day we don't have a good record at Arsenal, do we? It's a terrible record. No. But get back onto CELSO Romero. Matt, we'll finish it off. We're coming out at the end of the show now. I just think, to me, they need to sort it out, Matt. I think you're right. They need to have serious words between the UEFA and the Argentinian and South American countries.
We all just want clarity, don't we? What the hell is going on?
And tell the players as well. You are not travelling. UEFA needs to say as well. You are not travelling. You're not travelling to these countries on red list. Simple. And you tell these countries as well.
And if you do, you're getting a week's wage fined or more.
No, just don't give them an option, Matt. Just say you're not going. It's simple as that. You are not going. I don't think you give them an option, mate. They'll just do it. I mean, this is what's happened now, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, we've obviously said no. I mean, but as you said, we can't stop them. They've gone. I mean, so if you don't give them an option, say no, you're not going. It's simple as that. Jake says, boys, please don't lose that North London derby. I need the Arsenal fans having a meltdown, and so a Arsenal 0, Spurs 3 would be great. Oh, flipping out! I'll take that seriously. If that happens, mate. Wow, there was a couple at work. I'll absolutely drown, seriously. But that'd be great. So guys, thanks for everyone who's tuned today, and remember, guys, subscribe, like, share, comment, guys. It's so important to get us on the road to 1K subs, guys. Let's get this channel up to 1K subs. We haven't. Well, Matt, I know Matt's been ready. I haven't had the time lately. I can blame myself. We could have been up to 1K, I reckon, by now, but it's been busy bees. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not pay no bills, and you have to go where it's paying the bills. I mean, this is just me and Matt just likes coming on here, we'll have a little rant and rave, you know what I mean? And we do get up to 1K and got beyond. That don't mean nothing, you know. That don't mean nothing going to 1K subscribes. It absolutely nothing.
It'd be great for us as a personal achievement for the channel.
Exactly, because we built the channel up from scratch. It'll be crazy now to give it up, to let it just sink. You know what I mean? So we'll try now from now on to motor on and to look forward.
Yeah. And
bear
with us, guys. We are getting there.
Big up you two, great stream, thank you, Derek. Thanks for coming on, pal. Absolutely, always in the chat. Like Facts and Stats, like Jake, like Eugene, like Bobby, and Harry in here as well. Who else, Matt? We've had today, Matt. Facts and Stats always here. Renners, Richard Evans
came back.
Yusuf come back in there. Talk THFC. Eunice as well. Eunice come in. Brian Daigle always comes in and he's free as well. So yeah, absolutely, it's
Harry,
great.
The Arsenal fan, obviously. Thanks, Harry.
Yeah, thanks, Harry. Eugene says great show. Simon, Matt, catch up later. Eugene, thank you very much. Everyone get over to his channel and subscribe to his channel as well. Thank you very much, pal. And Jake said, gotta get Kenny Ken on for the... Yes, we'll get Kenny Ken. Definitely we'll get Kenny Ken on for a preview of that. Absolutely.
We'll get someone
Kenny Ken's great. Absolutely fantastic. And yeah, so we've had a good catch-up, Matt. It's a real good catch-up, that.
We have indeed.
Good catch-up. We've covered a lot of ground in one show. I've soon got to go pick up the boys from school, so I'll get myself ready. And as I said, guys, for one more time, guys, subscribe, like, share, comment, guys. Leave your comments still in there, guys. We'll get back to you on the road to 1K, guys. Yeah, let's get it over. What are we, Matt? We're 673, something like that.
Yeah.
We're 300 Saints. There must be 300 Saint people out there, guys, or you know as well. I mean, to get us over to up to 1K. But we're enjoying it as we are. I mean, we love coming on here, doing our best. I mean, to bring on good things for you guys. And as said, we welcome Emerson. Welcome to the club. And we welcome all the other signs as well to the club as well, and hope we have a great season with these guys. And we're going to say Chara from Premier Hotspur TV, guys. I've been Simon. This has been my co-host Matt.
Thank you, guys.
And thanks for everyone who's tuned in. As we said before, we go out again. Subscribe, guys, if you already haven't. Smash the like, guys. Comment, leave your comments in there, guys. Yeah, it's been over 20 odd people watching it. I want 20 odd likes, guys. Yeah, and so thanks for everyone who's come on. I might do one late tonight. I don't know on saying if Matt's available. I'll see if Matt's available. If not, it doesn't matter. So have a good rest of the day, guys. Don't get drunk if you're on your day off. Enjoy it, guys, and come on, Spurs. Come on.
Come on, Spurs.
Everywhere we go, everywhere we go, everywhere we go. It's all the boys making all the noise. Everywhere we go, everywhere we go, everywhere we go. It's all the boys making all the noise.
So have a great rest of the afternoon, guys, and come on, you Spurs. Come on, Spurs.